Welcome to Recouped the podcast, where we uncover the depths of sustainability and its impact on the world.
We're your hosts, Vicky
and Michelle.
And together we'll explore what it means to live more sustainably. Hey, girl.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling deep and raspy.
You're sounding sultry,
yes.
like a jazz singer.
Yes, since the last time we've talked on the podcast, I've had a little bit of a cold.
Literally the next day.
I sound like a different person, but
Yes.
This is me.
That's Michelle, y'all. Just to make sure. And that's me, Vicky. Welcome to Recoup the podcast.
And you're going to learn with us.
Yeah. We're like not professionals, but we love being able to share the things that we learn.
Mm-hmm. We love to learn things together.
What did we
especially
learn?
like juicy things, but
Yeah, well, we love crime stuff. We'll talk about that later. But we've been listening to a book and we learned something really cool. First, I'll just tell you the book. It's called
Junkyard Planet.
Yes, thank you for remembering.
By Adam Minter.
Yeah. And as we were learning cool stuff, let's tell the folks what we learned.
Well, last week we talked a little bit off mic about Christmas tree lights.
We did.
But we did talk about on our podcast about consumer holidays being
Correct.
a very
You're
big
right.
waste in our country. And all the moms fall for it. It's a scam, by the way.
Yes.
Let me just tell you, it's a scam.
But it's okay.
But Christmas trees, they're so beautiful.
And they're
those
beautiful
lights,
by the Christmas lights because they sparkle and they twinkle and sometimes they play with the music. And you can make it just red or just blue or just green or just white.
and if you're anything like my husband or like how my dad was, he's not going to buy a new strand. He's going to go through every single light and fix it.
But then what if there are some people who...
Don't know how to do that or don't have the patience.
Yeah. And then it goes into the garbage.
Don't be so upset about that.
Yeah. It's kind of... There's kind of a... Was it double-edged sword?
Catch-22?
Catch-22. All the things you can think of. So don't be so sad about throwing away. But if you can, find a way to put the little teeny tiny bulbs and figure out which ones go where. Like, we encourage that. However...
That is one of the topics. Learning how to fix your stuff.
Yeah.
That is the key to sustainability.
But with that being said, if you haven't figured it out, how to fix your Christmas lights, and you have thrown them away, and I'm sure in your hearts, just like us, we feel a little bit sad when we've thrown things away that are maybe fixable, maybe usable.
And also, if you have found any Christmas lights that work for more than 2 years in a row, please let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Send us
I
an
have
email.
not found them every year.
But so for us, since everything seems to be such a throwaway, when you throw away, or people in our country, when they throw away their Christmas lights, what happens
Just
to
in
them?
America. They
What
end up
happens?
in Jichao, China.
Yeah, that's SHIJIAO, China. They end up there, and what
It's
do they do?
fascinating.
What do they do?
So this town, there's this one man in this town who found a way to render down these Christmas lights and extract the copper and brass.
Yes.
Because 28% of that one Christmas strand, that light strand,
Yes.
is copper and brass.
Yes.
But the insulation and all the other crap surrounding it is kind of bleh.
Yes.
It's in the way. Too much work.
Yes. And so
He found a way.
he found a way to melt down these Christmas lights and to get all of the brass and copper and either reuse them or resell them.
What he needed he just needed copper and brass.
Yes.
And it's just raw copper and brass. And the mines were being depleted and they weren't accessible to him.
yeah.
They didn't have the money to extract it from the mines.
Well, and they didn't have those resources. Like
Yeah.
in China, the area that they were in, they just didn't have the resources for that.
But they have manpower.
But they have
and
manpower,
a will and
and they had-
entrepreneurship and innovativeness.
And people that wanted to work.
And they have this material. And now they also have the insulation material that they've rendered down. It's really toxic and gross to breathe
Yes.
through the whole process. That's, another
It's
pollution.
a double-edged sword.
But, yes.
We're going to talk about the positive part
But that
of what they're
plastic
doing.
turns into beautiful
flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Like sandal flip-flops.
So another company is running off of the insulation of our trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to let you know, a cool tidbit is those Christmas lights that go into the garbage, they do get picked out by somebody somewhere. They get salvaged and they get exported.
I'm not sure if this is the exact
the number,
because I'm sure there's more than 2.2 million pounds of Christmas lights that we consume as a country.
But the most recent
that's how
number,
much gets exported every year to be recycled.
Yeah. To be recycled, which is cool.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. So
just our Christmas lights.
Just the United States' Christmas lights. So.
20,000 people in this town. They have a factory.
Yep. And they work really, really hard.
Yeah.
In questionable
it's crazy.
conditions. But we're going to just say that they do get recycled. So that's really good. So knowing that China is dealing with our garbage, if we bring it back to the United States, and our subject today is about waste management systems. So, let's talk about what we're doing here. What do you think is working? What do we do here in the United States
So when we
that
break
is
it
working?
down, for what our country's doing is exporting our trash to these places, other countries that will recycle for us or do something for us, and they'll take all the other stuff too. So it is a double-edged sword again, because they're getting what they need, but they're also getting an excess amount of crap that we have. But we also learned that it's so much cheaper to send these shipping crates out by sea to these other countries, and it's 4 times as much to have stuff shipped back.
Yeah. So one thing the United States is doing with our garbage or recycle is we are giving it to other people to do things with it. What do you think in our community? What is working in our community with waste management? I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's the other side we'll talk about too.
So like right before the pandemic in Everett, where we live, we did the no plastic bag ban.
Oh,
or
you're
whatever.
right.
But then the pandemic happened, and you couldn't bring your own in.
That's correct.
So
and then
I was so proud of Everett for that 1 week that we had. It was like illegal, and it was like
bring your reusable bag.
If you come in without a bag, you're gonna have to carry your groceries out.
Yes, yeah, that was really cool.
No option to buy one, but then they had to bring it back. So I'm kind of waiting to see if that happens again.
Yeah,
I want it to.
Okay, peeps, we're gonna take a break. Right after these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey friends, this is Michelle with Recouped. And if you're not already shopping with small local businesses, you should, because they are more sustainable. And the perfect store where you can get everything you need locally is Petrichor in Everett, Washington. Petrichor is a general store for the modern dweller, rooted in time-honored traditions and design, with a focus on thoughtfully made and sustainable products. Visit www.petrichorliving.com to plan your visit for sustainable goods, including our bags.
Tell me what's not working about waste management.
I guess separating.
Yeah. It's too hard to separate all the things. Like, what was it? There's Christmas lights in garbage. There's flip-flops in garbage. There are mattresses in garbage. There's
dirty diapers.
And different
single-use plastics,
recyclable plastics and stuff like that. So, like, I guess what I would say that's not working is that there just isn't enough infrastructure. There isn't enough funds. There isn't enough research. Or maybe there is. Shout out to everyone out there who is actually doing the research, and hopefully will let us know about all the really cool things.
We'll have you as a guest someday.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as we know, in our community, it's just like you recycle and it gets taken away, but there are some things we cannot recycle. There's... like a lot of cities now are like taking food waste, which is pretty cool, which is before it was like a total no-no. Even like pizza boxes, remember, like pizza boxes with the grease on them, they absolutely wouldn't take them. Like, I'm pretty sure one time they left the box in my recycle bin.
Yeah, I know.
They like absolutely
so
will not take it. Is
like, oh man, I'm sorry.
But like, so when you think about what is not working, we're talking about how things get broken apart, or that there's not enough hands to organize and separate and do all those things. There's not enough money to figure out how to recycle plastic number 1, number 2, number 3, number 5, number 10, all the things that are there. I just made up number 10. I don't know if that's a real thing. I just put it out there. So like that goes into my second question is, why can't plastic be accommodated in these systems?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think they cannot be accommodated? Was it number 1 and 2 is
it's single use? It's cheaper to make.
Yeah, you're right. It's cheaper to make
than to
new
recycle.
plastic than it is to recycle. And there isn't enough know-how.
Yeah, because if there's like a bin full of milk cartons and plastic water bottles, and it goes to the recycling, you did your you did your job as a consumer, recycled all your stuff, sorted it out, but it's all going into one place anyway.
Yeah.
And then if there's, I guess, if your recycling plant has that system set up to do more manual,
Like
because it is a manual separation, except when we were reading or listening to this book, the guy said that there was a laser being used now that can like tell the plastic from a reflection.
See, where is that? Do they do that?
They did.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Do we have that here?
Yes,
We need
I
to
don't
figure
know.
that
We
out.
need to find it.
Did you, just so side note, did you know, I read somewhere, I don't know how true this is, I need to look some more, but if this is true, there are worms, some sort of worm, some sort of creature, bug,
That can eat
worm,
plastic.
That can eat plastic.
Did you know that babies have plastic in them now?
Yeah,
I probably have 3 kids with microplastics.
I'm really sorry.
So well, when I first became a mom, the BPA thing, remember that whole trend?
Huge thing. It's still a huge thing.
It is.
mean, yeah.
But I think it's a little too late, is what the general consensus is.
Because there's microplastics in everything as that we consume and in every way. I get it. The other thing that we learned about like why plastic can't be accommodated is you can't just mix these different number plastics together.
Yeah, it would be so awesome if you could just put all the plastics in one bin, melt them, and then turn them into
something
cool things.
Amazing. Yeah.
Surfboards or something cool.
Yeah, no, I love that.
But no,
it's a bummer. Not all plastics are created equal. Therefore, they cannot all be recycled, upcycled, reused in certain ways. But if you can, like those grocery bags that if you're in a city that requires, multi-use plastic grocery bags, use those. Use them because they're great. They're wonderful. What do you think, like, in life, what have you done to reduce plastic?
Well, I stopped buying plastic water bottles.
Yeah.
Many years ago. And I think it makes a big difference.
I think it does, especially, with your family. There's multiple.
Yeah, as long as you have access to water.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah.
I just drink it out of the faucet. I'm gross.
This is true. Her little one, he is so cute. One time I was helping giving him a bath, and I couldn't figure out why he kept putting his head under the faucet in the bathtub. And I was like, why? I can get you a glass of water. And then when I brought him home, he's all washed and clean and looking all fresh and cute. And then I see the entire family. They just, if they need a sip, they just take a sip from the faucet. That's,
no
you don't
glass.
need to dirty a glass. It's ready to go. And I was like, that's where he gets it from. But yeah, that's super cute. I know. I like that idea of like everybody, yes, you should be using water or reusable water bottles and finding different ways to reuse. So definitely water bottles, if that is something that you can do, that it is not a necessity to buy new jugs of water or water bottles. That is a really good way, find out how you can reduce that in your own life. I don't know. What do? I don't know what I do.
What if there's like new continents someday made of plastic?
Plastics there is.
Just like the one in the Pacific Ocean right now. It's like floating and birds live on it now.
Well, it's not like a continent.
It's like an island. Plastic
bottles
bottles floating.
What they're trying to say is there's enough of that combined that it can be an island. I don't think it's a giant mass
Someday,
like that.
who knows?
I know, you're right. I'm just imagining this plastic.
It is a giant. It's a giant mass. I was reading because when we were doing a little research on the Greenpeace, it's in the Pacific Ocean. It's a big giant mass of plastic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some action. When I think about actionable items, because I'm thinking about this water bottle thing, it really does stick with me. I'm trying to think of how I can. I don't use a lot of water bottles.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I reduce plastic?
So one of my
guilty if I have to use Ziploc bags every now and then. I won't lie. You can even ask my partner. I do reuse those things.
Yeah.
And you will find them in my kitchen washed, placed upside down on the drying mat so that I can use them again. Because sometimes you might need to use it. There's no shame behind that.
Growing up, we never, ever, ever ever did single-use like plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, my mom would always wash them out. My dad always washed and reused.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, we're just out here trying to figure some things out. If you can find one way, let us know other cool ways that we can immediately reduce our plastic use and waste, because there might be something cool out there that you guys are doing that we aren't doing. What else do you want to talk about?
Well, did you know
Yeah?
that plastic wasn't, when it was invented, it was
Yes.
replacing ivory? This is an interesting thing that'll probably go down in
What?
history, right? Of like,
Like
because
ivory,
people,
from the
hunted
the
ivory
elephant
from elephants
chunks?
almost into extinction, and then they had to come up with something else, and it was plastic for like buttons and combs.
Oh.
So I guess it's like
So let's make
those
plastic
ivory
buttons,
buttons, yeah,
and plastic combs.
because we killed all the elephants.
And now let's cover all of our food and
Yeah.
ship all of our packages.
It's just gotten way too out of hand.
I know something that you always say is like, we don't have to make any more plastic. There's enough
Forever.
forever. So, I mean, so everybody find ways to reuse your
'Cause
plastic.
what, at least 500 years.
Dang.
Even if you melt the plastic, it still stays in the atmosphere.
Okay, people.
Isn't that gross?
That is really gross. Find ways. Talk to people. Tell people. Reduce your plastic use, your plastic waste.
Yeah, it really does start with the consumer. So
Because
just
we know we're not going to be able
don't
to.
buy stuff that you need to throw out right away.
Correct. Be thoughtful and intentional about those type of purchases. Well, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, again, people, thank you for hanging in there and learning with us.
I think next time we'll talk about like accessibility.
I think that's a good idea. The water
'Cause we can
bottles.
start talking about it.
And accessibility. Okay. We'll talk about that in another podcast coming up soon. Until then, if y'all are interested in buying Michelle and I a cup of coffee or a tea, we've got a tip jar. So that's linked in the information. Find that and you can support us while we are trying to save the planet by using these plastics to make reusable bags.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for listening.
We are going to keep researching and learning all the things.
Yeah, and we're going to share with you more. So until next time, people, recycle, reduce, recoup. We'll chat with you later.
Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.